Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns, and you're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role playing games with friends. This continues Star Wars Saturdays, which is where I play and run different Star Wars, different RPGs that have all been hacked, reskinned, or remixed so that they can tell a story in the setting of Star Wars, Galaxy Far Away, long ago. I am with Stellar Conflict very excited because I accomplished two things. That is the game that we are playing, Stellar Conflict. Two things. The first thing is playing a new game in Star Wars. It will be my, checks the thing, it will be my 79th different RPG set in Star Wars in my pursuit of 100. I love keeping track of things. I like numbers. It also is a new to me game. First time that I have run Stellar Conflict, which is a reskin of Dungeon World. It was last put on Google Plus, of all things, linked up with some Google Drive stuff. I don't even know the author. It's a reskin of Dungeon World that I pulled it down. It was like 90% done. There were some Starship combat moves that I think weren't quite finalized because one ship was using one set of rules and another ship example was using another set of rules. So I tried to pull it all together and spool it up to make sense. Then, me being me, I decided I was going to use the Stonetop basic moves, which Stonetop is by Jeremy Strandberg. Very cool game that is as close as you can get to a Dungeon World second edition, I think. So I thought that would be fun because I like the advantage, disadvantage, and threw all that into a blender. Stellar Conflict, of course, Stellar Conflict, definitely Star Wars with Dungeon World, doing the same core concept. And then the last thing I get to accomplish is that I have this is a quarterly, which is a thing that a lot of the Gauntlet community does from time to time. I don't as often. I usually would just run a different RPG each month, but this is a quarterly. We're going to play 10 sessions, which for anyone who hears the number 10 said by Rich says, wait a second, why is he playing just 10 sessions of a game? That's one rung on the ladder of insanity, which I am currently running. I've participated in it for 5+ years now. Then last year, the guy who was running it, Mike, says, "Hey, Rich, can you just take this over because you basically are the one who cares the most about it?" I'm like, "Okay, what do you do?" And he taught me how to run the Ladder of Insanity. It's an RPG challenge. Wait, what? Stop getting fuzzy, camera. Stop. Okay, let me turn off the video and turn it back on. So it's an RPG challenge where you go up 10 rungs, and the first rung is playing one RPG, one session. The second rung is playing two different RPGs, 2 sessions each. That's 4 sessions. There are 10 rungs on the ladder. So by the end of the year, it's an annual challenge. My goal is to have played effectively 100 sessions of 10 different RPGs. Stellar Conflict is one of the rungs on the ladder, and you, my friends, will help me to complete it. That's a whole lot of setup, but hopefully it's not a waste of time for everybody. Stellar Conflict is a pretty cool game. There are some interesting character classes here. It uses Power by the Apocalypse, Dungeon World. So hopefully we're pretty familiar with that. You notice that there are 3 players here, but after this week, Cisco will be joining us. I'm very excited, which means we will go with 4 players. And that always makes me happy. I think it'll be a good, healthy size for the group. We're going to play like a long story. Like we get to do a lot of stuff. I'm very excited. The time frame, just as a reminder, mostly for the watchers, is after Palpatine was killed the first time, and the Death Star, the second one, blew up, and the New Republic is rising, but there is a large contingent of folks who were once part of the Empire who didn't roll over. Pulling from extended or Legends canon for Warlord Zinj, who had a huge kind of slice of the galaxy in Star Wars that was part of Zinja's empire, and that's going to be the place where we start off, is in Zinja's empire. Why? Because I like having stormtroopers and ATSTs and star destroyers and all that fun stuff, and everybody else seems to go along with it. So there we go. That is our setting. It's maybe a year and a half, 2 years after the end of the Return of the Jedi. So we're not quite up to the start of when the Mandalorian series kicked off. So we're in the middle there. So we have lots of fun stuff to play with. So with all of that gigantic amount of preamble, I will also add on that we do use safety tools for this game. We have lines. That's a line we don't cross. That's content that we're not interested in. For example, we have a line against death or endangerment of children. And then we have a line against sexual assault or sexual violence. We also have veils. These are things, it's content where we say we're okay if it occurs in our story. We just don't want to get the fine, gory details of that content. And we have veils on things like consensual sex. Hey, two characters going to hook up, totally awesome. We fade to black, we hear a little bit of jazz music or something like that, and then we skip past that. And then the last piece is ask first. Ask first means conceptually this could be okay, but rather than immediately just thrusting it into the story by saying this thing happened, or it's because of so and so, take a step back and introduce the concept to us as a group of players together. For example, I always have ask first on midichlorians, because sometimes people say that's hashtag not my Star Wars, and I'd rather someone say, is it cool if I say that I sense a lot of midichlorians in so-and-so thing? And if any one of the players say, can you try it a different way? Then it's like a subtle X card, like you really should try it a different way. That's why we have it as ask first. If that's the only idea you had, that's totally cool. Say, you know what, I'm running a little blank, or I'm not sure what else to do. We all will suggest other ideas. Don't worry. There's lots of creative folks in this group. I absolutely know we can work past that. Layered on top of lines, veils, and ask first, we have the X card, which is, I didn't realize we were going to go here, and it's harsh is my fun, or whatever reason. Like, this name is a name that I don't care to have in this story. It could be as simple as that. If you want to X card, you say, hey, I need to X card this. You could type it in the chat, whatever you need to do to communicate to me. In fact, even on our awesome die roller created by John Grimm, the roll with me, there's a little X card thing that will pop up on everybody who's logged into that room that an X card has been played. When an X card happens, we're going to pause. I'm going to check in just to understand if it's not clear. Like, if it's very clear that, hey, so-and-so just got their arm chopped off and someone drops an X card, oh, that was probably what happened. Let's roll it back. But if it's not clear to me what specifically was being X carded, I may ask just for clarification. You don't have to defend yourself. You do not need to explain why you've X carded it. It's bad enough that you've reached a point where you felt the need to kind of pull the cord in the bus and say, hey. So it's not a game of, oh, well, let's man up. And no, that is not cool. You're here to have fun. And if this harsh is your fun, that's way more important than anything else. So we will excise that from our play and move on, unless we need to take a break to talk it through. And then we'll do that. And we'll probably go off camera because, that's between us. So there, my preamble has been completed. We're now going to have folks introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about their character. And then after we go through that round, we'll be going from the left-hand side of the character keeper to the right. Then that snake order, that last person, we have bonds that we'll suggest between the different characters. And then just to last bit of the bit is that we're going to pick up a little bit in media res once we've resolved bonds. This will be a shorter session. We're going to play for about an hour today. tonight for Undesh, today for the rest of us. We may stop even a little bit shy of that because there are a few questions at the end of a Dungeon World game that we've hacked a little bit to be a little more Star Warsy that assign XP, and I like to do stars and wishes. And then since this is a kickoff of a quarterly series, those wishes are important to me. So now, let's take a breath. Cody, if you could introduce yourself and tell us about your amazingly named character.
Yeah, hey, what's up? My name's Cody. I use the he, him pronouns. I'm playing the bounty hunter playbook. My name is Kaz Kengrave, the bounty hunter with an eye patch. What more do you really need to know about Kaz Kengrave? Really, he's a man of mystery, an adventurer, a triggerman. He's just a guy making his way through the galaxy. That's all. That's all you need to know about him.
I mean, honestly, making your way in the world today takes everything you've got.
And thank you for saying it.
It's been in my head for like several minutes. So thank you for allowing me that opportunity. Cool. Excellent. So let's see. Any questions I have about Cause? Cause is working bounties in Zinj's empire. Now, the empire, of course, historically used a large number of bounty hunters for extra legal enforcement. Is this generally been how things have worked for Cause, or is this new to him, the working in Zinj's empire?
I think Kaz working in Zinja's Empire specifically is new. He's worked his way across all corners of the galaxy, preferring to take jobs and hunts from independent people, independent systems, or independent businesses. But occasionally the Empire is the only thing that pays, and you got to take the job you got. So he's worked there. But it's only recently he's popped into Zinja's Empire.
I like it. That is cool to know. Excellent. Thank you so much. Then let's move to the middle here for Stephen.
Hi, my name's Steven. My pronouns are he, him. I'm playing Tassa Bray, whose pronouns are she, her. Tassa Bray, and I'm going to forget this all the time, is from a group called the Zaysan Shah, which is from one of the old role-playing games, but they are force-sensitive people who were left on a planet named Yanabar during an old war millennia ago, but the Jedi that knew about them were killed, and these people feel like they were abandoned. Um, but they developed their own society, and their world was very harsh, so they learned to be self-reliant, and the family became very important. The family relationship became very important to them. So whenever they were discovered by the outside, uh, society, they were resentful of the Jedi because they felt like they'd been, you know, abandoned by them, in a harsh place. But at the same time, they became very self-reliant and very, it was treated as an honor to help others. They were very different from the Jedi in that they raised their own children, if they were force sensitive and all that kind of stuff. So they have a very close relationship of family. Um, so back to the point of I think Tassa left her culture to search for her brother, whose name is Honric, and in doing so, she stumbled across people who needed help.
Nice. Nice. Oh my goodness. I just realized there's no NPCs tab in my character keeper. That's the worst.
Amateur hour over here. I
Rookie
can't
mistake.
believe
Oh my
it.
gosh. To Damaris to House Rogers. Cheese and
Huh.
crackers.
I noticed that earlier, but I thought, of course, you're going to add that later after we develop
Yeah.
the story.
Aha! That's totally it. Whoops. Holy crap, I'm embarrassed. Excellent. Can you type your brother's name in the
Certainly will.
in the chat there so I can have it? I would appreciate that, my friend. Thank you so much. That is super cool. So left your home to find your brother who did he tell anyone he was leaving or did he just disappear?
I think everyone kind of knew. He was always searching for adventure and was always talking about leaving. Um, he wasn't satisfied staying with, you know, he, he he was always destined to go out amongst the rest of the galaxy.
And who did he, besides Tassa, who did he leave behind?
Mm.
Like, did people ask you, hey, can you go find him? Or did you just volunteer that?
Um, he left, but I think he's naive uh, in the way of the galaxy. And there was he got in some trouble with the Imperial remnants that were there on the planet. And I think he has, the Imperials have put out a bounty on him, or have, he's wanted by the Imperials.
You literally read my mind. I had over here this question that I was going to pull out and later ask Cos Kingrave if he had told Tassa about the bounty that exists for Fonric. So just know that that question's coming, Cos. But we'll just put the question back over here, right there. Awesome. That is good to know. How long do you imagine Tassa's been out among the people, these like random weird people, other than the comforts of her home?
Yeah, I think it's been years. It's been something that, um, the trail is a little bit cold with her brother, and she keeps getting distracted. There's lots of people to help, and she can't say no. She's struggling with, all the need that's out there and what she can do to help.
Interesting. How so she uses the Force? How often does she speak with other Force users from the Zaysan Shah?
She hadn't had many experiences. She just knew, the stories that the people told in her culture. Outside of, once she left the world, some people don't believe in the Force. Some people don't, outside in the rest of the galaxy. Some people don't, that's all mysticism. Who knows what's going on? Some people are very serious about it, and they're like, treat them as like religious zealots or someone who is to be revered, or it just varies. She herself tends to shy away from that because, you know, from her perspective, they're a
Hmm.
danger to freedom.
Oh man, that's awesome. That is awesome. Okay, cool. Thank you very much for that. And last but certainly not least, Nadesh, if you could introduce yourself and tell us about your character, please.
Yeah, I'm Anders, he, him. I am playing Her Royal Highness Princess Tira Path of the planet Riven, which I placed randomly in the Vortex sector, which is one of the sectors of Singe's empire, apparently. I don't know anything about it. Maybe it doesn't fit at all. We'll see. She tried to lead a revolution against Singe, kick the Empire out of her planet. Her family wasn't up for that, so she was placed in kind of house arrest, and the other characters busted in there and got her out. I think that's what we established in our pre-game talk.
It is exactly what we've established. That is very cool. Okay, chances are you're going to be leaving your home planet. What is something that the Tirla is most inspired, but what does she love most about her planet?
Ooh, I think it's a mountain planet because Star Wars.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
they have these huge flying creatures, kind of like pterodactyls, that they ride on, and that's what she's going to miss, like flying over between the mountains on her steed.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. Why are you leaving? So foolish. You're just gonna have nothing but trouble out there, just so you know. That's
Yeah,
cool.
but apparently that's what we need to do to get rid of this usurper who is oppressing my people.
Was there one moment of imperial repression that most inspired Tirla, or what was a like inciting incident for her decision to be rebellious? Was it the loss of life by someone who was also rebellious? Was she inspired by someone who put these wild ideas in her head? To help
Um,
kick this off.
I think like the Singe has stationed like a regiment of stormtroopers or something.
Hmm.
They're of course officially invited by the royal family, maybe not so much in reality, and they she saw how they behaved against like the common people. I mean, she has a lot of unexamined privilege, that whole thing. She's from the royal family, but I think she saw one of the stormtroopers like there was a market and someone was selling fruit like apple, the local equivalent. They were selling space apples, and one of the stormtroopers just didn't like the way this person talked to them, so they just kicked the stall down and smacked this person in the face with their blaster carbine. Didn't kill them, but just was obviously being very did not care about people. Someone protested and got arrested, so there was like a whole kerfuffle, and she was very upset by this.
Nice. I like that. That's great. I really admire that you didn't go Stormtrooper just killed the dude. That's nice. It's even more insidious and heroic for her to stand up.
I mean,
But at some point, yeah, no.
there were probably worse things going on that she didn't know about, but this was the first thing she saw that was like a sign of things to come. And then I think things started getting worse, but she was pulled out of it before she could really do it.
And then what were the official charges against Tirla for why she was arrested? Is she under a house arrest that her family has set
Yeah,
up?
I don't think there are any like official. They had, I think the Imperials, they knew that there was some sort of rebellion brewing.
Hmm.
Um, but I think her family like shut her down before it really could get anywhere. They did like one big thing, like some sort of manifestation that kind of painted the empire in a bad light, or the Singe's empire in a bad light.
Oh,
Um,
that's great.
but she
You
was
basically like painted graffiti. That was your rebellious act. Oh, that's oh.
I think it was like it was more tasteful than that. It was like a big beautiful mural, but it was still like showing Sinch like oppressing the people or something. And they were going to have a like an actual demonstration, but her family got wind of it. They just realized that she was involved in this, and they pulled her out before. So nothing really came of it. Some people showed up and were arrested, but the empire, I don't think they connected it there's definitely suspicion against her, but there were no official charges. That's
Oh,
all.
that's cool. That's cool. So your family's a step ahead. It's like a house arrest thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Last question, and then we're going to go into ponds. By the way, I love what you painted here. Riven the mountain world is great. Uh, who does Tirla suspect contacted these people who've just rescued Tirla so that we can set up bonds? You're already like sprung from house arrest.
I think it's her aunt. Her father is the king, and this is his. I think it's his. Yeah, one of his sisters. I'm not sure if she's older or younger. Younger probably, and she's also all about kicking the empire out, but she realizes she can't be the figurehead because she's kind of, I mean, Tira is young and pretty and outgoing, and she's like she's this aunt isn't a suitable person and probably doesn't want to be. She's a bit comfortable and so on, but she cares about her niece and realizes that if she gets out of here, then maybe she can do something from the outside that she can't currently do from the inside.
Nice. I like it. I like it a
There's a
lot.
name for her.
Oh, Cody, you read my mind on the Ruping. Yeah, that was exactly where I was like, oh, it's a Ruping. That's so badass. That makes me very happy. Cool. Oh, I'm pausing for Anish said they you want to get a name, so I'm pausing, but then we are going to roll straight into doing some bonds. So in this rule set, bonds look like they don't give XP and they don't work for helping. I may tweak that as we play. We'll see. But for now, bonds are just a way to establish how you guys all know each other. So, do you have a bond, Andesh, for Tirla that you want to suggest to Stephen or Cody?
I'm not sure if this fits. It depends on Stephen if you think this works. But I was thinking of going for Tossa is an uncultured savage, but I will teach them the finer things. I'm not sure if that fits with the culture of your planet.
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
Cool. Thank you.
Oh, that's great. That's very good. Bond. And by the way, bonds can evolve and change. In Dungeon World, you get XP if you fully explored and resolved a bond, and we may institute that here. I just didn't see it in the rule set, and it's not part of Stonetop, so it may be a hack we add on if we feel like we need more XP or if we want to mechanically reward it. Thank you for that bond suggestion. That is delightful. Steve, let's move to you. Do you have a bond that you wanted to offer up?
So I was going to suggest one for Tirla. However, I think it might fit better for Cause. Is Cause keeping an important secret from me?
Well, we have talked about this, haven't we? I feel like it's just, yeah, I feel like that's there. Cause recognizes the name, and he hasn't mentioned it yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we could put it on the table and we'd make a different secret for Anders, but yeah.
No, I think
just depends on what you want.
Good.
Okay. Perfect.
At some point, I will be curious to find out, is that because Cause plans on taking the bounty, if it's really rich, if the creds go up on it? I'm really curious about that, but I'm not asking now because it doesn't matter exactly now. Good stuff. Mark that down. It is a thing that's being kept from you, Tossa. Cody, for Cause, do you have a bond you wanted to offer up?
Yeah, I think I guess I'd offer it. One of my bonds is blank owes me a lot. I think Princess Tirla Path owes me a lot, and they need to pay up on this.
How do you feel with it, Undesh? Are you cool?
Yeah, that sounds great. I mean, Tierla may not agree about this, but that's where the fun comes in.
So, to understand the owes me a lot, is this a thing where Cause hasn't been paid for this rescue mission, or you just feel like she owes you because you rescued her? Sure, you got paid, but
I think he hasn't been paid yet for this rescue, right? Like you don't get paid for the bounty just for taking the job. You have to bring him in. And I think, if I might suggest, I think Princess Tirla probably makes the job harder than it needs to be. And so it's a whether or not Princess Tirla is often like, we have more than enough to pay you. Just come on. And it's like, all right. Or if Cause suggests it first, where he's like, if we're you owe me if we're doing this, like my fees doubled. So yeah, I think that's the nature of it right now.
I like that. I like that a lot. Cool. Okay. Then let's take a look. We'll snake order again. So you've got one pointed towards Tierla. What bond caused you want to point to Tassa?
I think I see somebody has highlighted one in particular. I think the one that actually goes back to Tassa is maybe that I don't trust them and they don't trust me either. I think going off of this secret, perhaps there's a level of distrust from Kaz. Potential also, Tassa kind of has Kaz doesn't know about this force stuff, so this intuition leading us around sometimes leaves a lot to be desired for somebody who is kind of calculated. I think that's the one I would offer your way, Tassa. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Good, 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 good. Okay, and Tassa, you have one pointed towards Cause. So let's get you a bond pointed towards the princess.
Anders, how about the princess is woefully misinformed about the world, and I will teach them all that I can.
Yeah, that's both accurate and interesting.
That is great. I am a fan of that. And then to finish up our bonds, Tierly, you have one pointed at Tassa. Let's get one for Cause.
Yeah, I have one that kind of works, assuming that Cos was kind of working undercover or something, or that he's been working in this, working for my family before. Maybe that's how he knew how to get her out, because I have Cos served under my father, and I was cruel slash kind to them. Work at the detail. So I think either if you had taken some job for the family before, or if you were like undercover for a while as part of this thing. What do you think?
I think it's totally fine if I've worked for the family before, and that is why maybe your aunt was like, "Well, I know one guy. There's one
Oh,
name in our
yeah.
Rolodex that we have, who does this sort of thing." Yeah, I think Kaz has worked for the family before. Especially, it fits with what I mentioned about not wanting to take too many imperial bounties or
Oh, yeah,
jobs.
yeah.
So it's like, oh, the king of this world wants me to do it. That's better. I'll take that one.
Yeah. And I think I was always very, very arrogant and like ordering you around and making you do menial tasks whenever you showed up. That's a
Perfect. Yep.
Oh, I'm into that. That is just great. Thank you, Undish, for playing that up because it gives you an edge. Not the best, most pleasant edge, but an edge. I like it. Cool. I'd like to establish that suspicions are that it was the aunt. Did you stick? By the way, we do have an NPCs tab now because I can fix things that I break. Did we name our aunt yet?
Yeah, her name is, I put it in the chat, Tredna.
Oh, there we are. Sorry about that. Aunt Tredna, who's just not as adventurous as Tirla. So the suspicion is that Aunt Tredna set this up, but even she knows, yeah, I can't get filmed doing this. So it was one of the protocol droids that hired Kaz. And Tassa, we know how Kaz was pulled in. How were you pulled into this little rescue mission?
I think I heard about it through Cause. And I think it was one of those things. Oz, do you think you and I we've done other things together, right? And we've helped out other people.
I think so. I think Kaz
Yeah.
has a lot of jobs, and
Yeah.
Tassa has a lot of callings.
Yeah. So I think
crosses over a lot.
I frown on some of the jobs that you do because that seems like it's just about money, which isn't okay. But in this case, you're helping people. Yeah. And you've got a good idea about, which jobs Tassa would be interested in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Good. Okay. So that is a bunch of cool setup. I love it. We kick off with a crawl that explains a lot of this bonds and history that we've just worked out. It's very cleverly written. There are a couple of words where all the letters are capitalized to teach us that that's important and more important than the other important stuff. Then the words slowly disappear. John Williams music spans out. We come down to the planet of Riven. Are you saying Riven or Rivan? How do you say it? I'll do my best to mimic.
I'll just say Riven. That felt.
How are you saying it? You were saying Riven before?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Okay, cool.
It's not important.
Well, most people on Riven pronounce it Riven. The royal family pronounce it Rivan, of course.
Rivan. So Tirla's trying to be one of the people, and she says Riven as well. Is that it? Okay, awesome. So we come. The camera comes down to the beautiful mountain. We see a Ruping-like creature, Ruping, basically pterodactyl with rider on top. I'm imagining that there's a mountain palace, right? It kind of looks like maybe there's some Greek aspects, is a little inspirational for like Mount Olympus, the palace on Mount Olympus look. There's clouds, wind, there's lots of CG effects going on of people who are walking across. We see little people on there are tons of like open balconies and the like. It's a very lively place. I see that Tirla is wearing all black. Do you imagine the people of Riven being a mountainous culture? Like, what's the color? Because remember, Lucas always went with like certain color scapes. Is it a very brown? Like, what's the general color scheme that you imagine for the people of Riven?
No, I think that's like white and blue. This is her undercover outfit. This is when she's in exile
I see.
and
Thank
trying
you.
to blend in and be non-conspicuous. So this
But it's so fancy. It's so tailored.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. Where's the hood? Sorry, that's all Star Wars folks need.
It's a fold-out. You can like pull it out and
Oh, bravo. No, just pulls the like. No, sorry, I'll stop. Okay.
Yeah. I think that there's everyone's wearing robes that are kind of blue and white. That's
Nice, cool. So yeah, lots of blues and whites. People more interested in the sky than the mountains underneath their feet, and everything's like we hear the sweeping John Williams score. The camera's panning closer, coming. It's like drone footage, man, because we're like all Star Wars, old school, new school, and it's coming in closer to a particular balcony, and we see for the first time, presence of the Imperial, we see some stormtroopers are marching past with their blaster carbines, and there's a couple of notes from Imperial March that are just mixed in with the soundscape. But then we come in, and then the music is interrupted as we go through the balcony, and we're traveling down quarter past through a few. Like there is a protocol droid that's talking to someone who's got a tray, obviously some kind of server, not computer server, but like person who serves food to others. Possibly a servant. We may explore that later. We don't know. But person in blue and white robes, and then boom, we go down this like circular staircase. And as the camera's panning down the circular staircase, we suddenly hear the sound of blaster fire. And when it comes out, we see it's much darker. We see actual mountain, like carved into the mountain, part of whatever this room is. And then we see flashes and hear a couple more blaster shots. And then when the camera turns around a corner, we see there are a pair of stormtroopers, one lying on their back with their blaster carbine not far away, one lying on their stomach with a smoking hole in their back. And Tassa, how is it that you open the cell? I'm imagining it's one of those like force shield cells. How is it that you've opened the cell to let Princess Tirla out?
I think that I have bashed the cell with like the butt of one of the troopers, the butt of their gun, and whenever I bash the cell, sparks fly, and the cell itself just slides open.
Nice. And Cos, so the picture that we see of you, you're not wearing the helmet. Is that normal? Like, are you the Mandalorian who never removes your mask, or do you almost never wear a mask?
Kaz doesn't wear a mask most of the time. He doesn't wear a helmet. For those not aware, I'm using a Dengar image with Ken Cosgrove from Mad Men's face plastered on it amateurishly.
So good.
Yeah, Cosgrove. Kaz doesn't use a helmet. He's got an eye patch. He's got to have as much visibility as he can handle, and he hasn't been able to afford one of those fancy helmets with 360-degree view. So he just keeps it vision open.
Nice. What's the expression we see on Kaz's face? Is this all going according to plan, or is he concerned about what's happening right now?
Of course, it's not going according to plan. Nothing ever does. No job is ever easy in this Zinj's Empire sector. All of this goes to hell. There wasn't supposed to be this many stormtroopers in the castle. The princess was just under house arrest. It was a simple sneak in, open the door, and get out. And now I'm having to mow down troopers left and right.
It's so true. Tirla, your old friend, your old worker person, Kaz Kingrave, is here. Obviously, your aunt has sent him to free you from the tyranny of your... Do you blame your parents? I mean, it's house arrest, so they basically arrested you. But anyway, you're free. What do you do?
Tirla steps out of the cell and, well, this is a very noisy rescue. I thought you were supposed to be discreet.
And you weren't supposed to have this many troopers in your castle, but here we are. Kaz pulls out a blaster and hands it to Tirla. I'll pull it from my one of my stocks. Whenever I have a diverse arsenal of weapons, I'll pull out a weapon. Oh, I have to roll for it. Roll plus stock, and then I get to choose a tag. Interesting. Okay. Can I do that? Can I?
Please do. First
All
roll
right.
of the game.
All right. All right, so I'm rolling 2d6 plus stock. My stock is currently +2. It starts with a +2, it looks like. So going ahead, rolling, get a 10. You'll love to see it. On a 10, describe it
Nice.
and choose one option from the list below. I think it's a small pistol, but it's guided. I think it has like a reticle, like a big square lens on the off the side, and it's like with this she can't miss. The gun will do the job for it. The blaster will do the job for it. So he hands over a little guided blaster, and he says, "Point it down the hall, pull the trigger. You'll figure it out in no time, princess. Even you can figure that out."
And she takes it and is kind of, well, it's not very elegant, but I'm sure it'll get the job done.
Nice.
And she kind of folds this extra sight down because and kind of poses a bit, like gets the feel of it.
Yeah, Kaz like pushes her hand down. Not that way, princess. Down the hall. We're lacking in elegance. I'm sorry.
Nice.
I'm sure you
Tassa,
have to make that apology quite often.
Woo!
Tassa, you of course have created an exfiltration plan. I'll give you an XP if it has to do with riding the Ruping creatures.
Ooh.
But you can tell me what
okay.
the plan is.
Yeah. So while the two of them are kind of bickering there in the hallway, I've been going up and down, making sure that our escape route is is ready. And I think we've planned on setting some of the speeders that are in the hangar off. So I think now's whenever we click the little button and those just take off, drawing the troopers and the guards that direction. But in the meantime, we have Tirla's mount. And it's sitting like outside of one of the high windows that everybody likes to look out and that kind of stuff. And I think the plan is we're going to smash through the window and jump onto the back of this mount. Now, as we establish this, Tirla, can they carry more than one rider, or do we need more than one mount?
Yeah, I think they can carry more than one rider. I think 3 is pushing it, but it can be done. It gives me something to complain about, but that you plan to put all 3 of us on a single mount.
Yeah.
On your mount.
Yeah, or even worse.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so good. This is so good. I love this. And go ahead and mark that XP. And I would love to see someone lead the crew to defy danger as some stormtroopers come in to this area, and they're like, "Hey, hold on!" And they see their two dead buddies, and they're pulling up their blaster carbines. You do not know if they're set on stun. So who would like to defy danger here to get you guys out to the Rupings?
Obviously, Kaz is breaking through that glass. He can do anything. He can fly through the air and grab a mount mid flight. Easy.
Oh, that's awesome. So I think you are defying danger. Danger looms. The stakes are high, and you do something chancy. I'm going to see. It sounds like you're employing speed, possibly some agility and finesse. So roll plus dex. You're going to roll 2d6 plus your dex mod, which for Kaz is a 1. Is anyone going to try to help Kaz? Sorry.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure how this works. I have a specific thing for aid, but I'm not sure if it feels like it does the same thing as the regular aid, because mine is you can aid anybody who can hear you explain in great detail how they could be doing their job better. But I'm not sure how that's different from the regular aid.
I guess yours is just all you have to do is tell them they could do it better, whereas somebody, if it was a different aid, somebody would actually need to be doing something that accomplishes it.
Right. Yeah. Cool. But Stephen, did you have something you wanted to to
No,
do that?
no, that's perfect.
Cool. Yeah. So remember, the windows open on the right, and
So
and you
good.
have to grab the reins, or he'll throw you off.
All right. If you deign to follow Princess Tirlapath's instructions, cause you can roll with advantage, which means you'll be rolling 3d6, add one, and you choose the two best results to sum.
I think Kaz will listen to half of her advice and the other half he'll ignore. He's going to plow straight through the glass. It doesn't matter that they open, but he will grab the reins. So that's how he'll play it.
Okay. Go ahead and roll 3d6.
All right, taking the 2 higher +1.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a 4, a 5, and a 1. So we'll take the 4 and the 5 +1 gives me a 10.
Whoop whoop. Okay, on a 10 on Defy Danger, it's the most boring result. You pull it off as well as one could hope. So Cause, tell us what does that look like? Are you firing back? Are you just muscling through, like you said?
Yeah, it's he dives through the glass, it breaks across his armor, he grabs a hold of the reins, and as he grabs a hold of them, he wheels the rooping back and starts unloading through the window. Maybe on the floor above, wherever he can see that white plasteel armor, he's just blasting through the glass to cause a ruckus, and grabbing the rooping and kind of pulling them into place so that it's an easier jump for Tirla and Tassa.
Awesome. Tassa, do you encourage Tirla to go next, or are you jumping on to pull Tirla up? How do you do this?
Oh, I think I actually push Tirla out the window. I think she's standing there like, this isn't our normal exit, and I give her a shove.
Cool. So Tirla, it seems that you are next to mount your. What is the? And if you can't think of a name, that's okay. But does she care about her mount? Like, does she love this little?
Oh yeah, she's raised this thing from when it hatched, I guess, if we're going with a pterodactyl thing. Its name is let's say its name is Aresh. I'll put it in the chat.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I think she like gets into to place behind Cos, since he has grabbed the reins, and this is, of course, she would want to be up front, but she can't. Like, now she's behind him, and yeah. You realize that window was 300 years old?
You realize we're going to be about 0 years old if you don't fire back on these troopers right now.
Oh, that's good.
She fires a couple of shots, and I don't know if she hits anyone, but she's firing at least. Well, we wouldn't need to be firing if we were out of here by now.
You're insufferable. It's great. Cool. So let's see. So you guys are on the Ruping, and Taresh swoops down. There are a bunch of blasters. Pew, pew, pew. The fire over your heads. And yeah, Tassa, they're going to draw a bead on you unless you do something. These guys are going to hit you. What do you do?
So I think what I'm going to do is I'm kind of standing framed in the window that we've smashed through. I'm going to use telekinesis to send the window shards flying back at them as I fall out the back of the window. And my intention is to grab a hold of the little hanging feet of our Ruping Tarish and, fly away, kind of pulling it down because 3 people is heavy weight, but let's see. Yeah. So that's my intention.
Do it.
Yeah.
How does your telekinesis work?
I roll plus wisdom.
Okay.
So 6 plus 2. See what that is.
Nice. Roll plus whiz.
Ooh, that's only a 6. On a 6, that's just a fail. It doesn't say anything specific.
Okay, it means I get a move. That's awesome, though. Go ahead and mark an XP because you missed. So on, yeah, that's a failed roll. Good work. I'm so excited by this opportunity. I think what happens is that you fling, you fling a bunch of the glass, and it shatters off of a stormtrooper. He gets, but you get a little bit off of balance, Tassa, and you end up grabbing onto one of the reins. Otherwise, you would have fallen completely off. The roofing is taking off and it has to dip down a little bit, and you're just swinging back and forth right now, hung by one hand. Kaz, are you the driver here? Or has Tirla edged you out of the way so she can get Tarish?
I think Kaz is the driver here. I think he can't leave this up to Tirla. And anyways, they gotta rendezvous with that scoundrel in the ship. They gotta make it. He can't leave this into her hands. So he's gonna be piloting the roofing.
Okay.
Managing, animal handling the roofing.
Awesome. So Kaz has his elbows up, forcing you out of the way. Tirla, you're right behind him. And Tassa is swinging from one of the sets of reins. What do you do, Tirla?
Me? I think I'm just trying to keep the stormtroopers back, like firing. We could go anytime now.
Cool. That's amazing. You're just gonna leave Tassa hanging, literally. Tarish takes off, flies away, and Tassa, I guess you're gonna have to defy danger with strength to pull yourself back up with no help. Love this.
Yeah, perfect. My danger was strength.
Oh, remember the blue reins are a bit weaker, so don't put your full weight on those. And we're coming up on a cliff up here, so hurry up.
God. Are you listening to her instructions?
Yeah, I think so. She knows the harness better than I do. Let's see what that looks like.
All right, you are rolling with strength, which
I
for
rolled
you
all
is a
fives,
+1.
so that makes
Okay.
it an 11.
That is certainly an 11. What does it look like as you are able to wrestle your way back up onto the saddle?
So I think I reach over and to grab a hold of the reins. I don't grab a hold of the blue ones because they're weaker. I grab a hold of the other one, but it's still not good enough. And we see that I actually start to fall whenever Tarish reaches down and just grabs a hold of me with its claws. Like,
Nice.
it knows Tirla, was giving me instructions, and it's like, oh, I can't let this one go. And yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Then we hear a sound effect whirr, of the rooping as it swings across, and you guys are headed towards the as yet unnamed ship, which is a beautiful Corellian Engineering Corporation Vanguard class heavy assault gunship. She's had some modifications. She's got it where it counts. That's what I'm saying. And I think that's where you guys will run into the scoundrel who is the fourth member of this lovely party. So if you're okay with us cliffhangering there, that's what we'll do. Cool. Yeah, I think what we'll do is you're headed that way, and cause you pick out of mountainous area. There's a landing strip. You see there's an ATST, one of the scouts things that is coming, like marching its way up the like I guess there was a ramp like towards the ship, and it turns and starts to face you guys so that we can have an actual cliffhanger of what's going on. Oh, there we go. Awesome. All right, let's do our session end. I understand we only had like a few brief moments, but we can still ask the questions to get ourselves in the habit. So when a session ends, point out how you demonstrated or struggled with your drive. If you can, you get to mark an XP. We'll go for each person. Or no, this is a group. That's right. Okay, cool. So let's start with drive. Cause, what's your drive? And did you struggle or demonstrate it?
My drive is challenge, do something dangerous or foolhardy just to prove you can. I think I did.
I think you did too. Go ahead and mark an XP for drive. So Stephen, for Tassa, what's your drive?
Uncover a hidden truth or reveal corruption.
Hmm.
Were we revealing corruption of the troopers to get Tirla out?
I think so. Like this was a house arrest thing, and all of a sudden, the Empire is involved. I didn't highlight this, but in my headcanon, I think that there's also an Imperial, like one of the interrogation droids that was in the cell that you guys shot. So maybe that was just some footage that didn't end up in the final reel. But yeah, I think you revealing that the stormtroopers were involved in this somehow. I like it. Go ahead and mark an XP. And then what about for Princess Teela?
Yeah,
What's your drive?
My drive is revolution, subvert or defy the system, and I think like escaping from house arrest and shooting stormtroopers should count for that, maybe.
For sure it does. If it didn't, what are we even doing here? I love it. Cool. Now we've got some team-related questions that are asked. And for each yes, everybody marks an XP. Did you have a thrilling adventure?
Yeah, we're flying through the air on a pterodactyl after shooting troopers and blasting. It's Star Wars. It's always an adventure. What are we doing here?
Why are we even here? You must be this adventurous to ride. Cool. Everybody mark an XP. Did you discover something about the galaxy or its history?
Not really.
Yeah, I think not yet. We've got some stuff that we've established that we can discover. Did you defeat a threat to the region or the people?
Defeat.
Not defeated, no.
Correct. Okay.
Fled from them strongly.
Did you recover or redeem someone or something once thought lost?
We definitely recovered someone.
Yeah,
but
sure.
have we secured that recovery, or is that
It doesn't
when
say-
we get out of the
yeah.
planet? You know what I mean? Is that like that's the?
Oh, that's true. Then it can be a like also Cisco gets XP for it kind of deal. Okay. I'm into
Yeah.
that if you guys are okay for delaying the gratification on that.
Yeah.
All right. And then did you restore hope?
Yeah, I think so.
So some
I
people
don't know.
watched this
I don't know.
thrilling getaway. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Saw
Okay,
like
well, that's-
open anti-imperial like battling. Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So a few people was like, oh, what is the princess doing? If you accept that, then you guys can all mark 1 XP for that. Cool. That completes the questions for XP portion. So we, with our remaining time, can work out some stars and wishes. Before we do that, though, I just want to have a general question. We had, and this is Princess Tearless is giving instruction to do aid. But conceptually, how do you guys feel about the aid as it exists? You just help somebody, and the GM either says they can accomplish more than they could alone, or you gain advantage. Regardless, you're exposed to any risk, cost, or consequence. It's faster. It saves a die roll, but also with XP on a fail, that means it's reducing an opportunity for XP. So are we cool with aid being a diceless aid, or do we want to go back to the more traditional dungeon world of you would roll plus well your bond with that person. So pretty much roll +1.
I think it makes sense for the noble playbook to have a free diceless aid, because otherwise that move's not good at all. It doesn't really exist if it's just like, hey, you can take aid no matter what. Whereas I think if Tassa or me were to aid anybody else, we would have to do something. We would have to execute a move of some sort to attempt to help. And then that increases a chance that we fail. It increases the chance the other person will continue. Not increases the chance, but there's the extra die rolls that stuff could happen on, which I think all works so long as the noble gets to do theirs kind of for free. Or it's not even necessarily for free. It is for free, because it's just so long as they can hear them kind of berate them into doing better, which I think is a good move. It places the noble as a very support kind of playbook. So I that's how I would do it, I think.
Stephen, what are your thoughts on that?
I agree with what Cody said completely. The one thing I felt like I was missing from the aid move was the possibility of hindering as well. So
that's true.
a dungeon world doesn't have the ability, like if you fail on the aid roll, then it gives a -1, and I personally like that a lot. So it puts it a little bit more in jeopardy. That might also help balance out the extra XP, meaning people might not aid as much if they know that they could actually provide a negative. But that's deviating from the original Dungeon World rules.
I've already deviated, so don't worry about holding true to Dungeon World. I just wanted to
But yeah, I
make
think
sure
a roll is fine.
Cool. I was feeling that way. I just wanted to check in and make sure. And then Undesh, what are your thoughts?
I'm actually in favor of non-dice roll aid in general. I'm not sure
Okay.
if it's the best thing here. It does interact weirdly with XP and miss sometimes, but it speeds things up, and it means that helping is actually helpful. I'm kind of so on aid not helping if you're not playing a game that's either very grim or very comedic. Like, I think in general, like adventure style, like action adventure thing, it's very rare that someone tries to help someone and it actually makes things worse, unless it's a very, maybe if they're like a comedy relief character and it's the whole thing that they're just bad at doing stuff, and that's generally not the kind of characters we're playing. And I'm not so bothered about the XP thing, but yeah, I mostly I'm in favor of not putting a dice roll on it because it saves time.
Okay. Then if we remain with it not as diceless, I would like to work with you to replace that princess move, or just make sure it feels like you're not getting ripped. That's important to me.
It could just be that I don't expose myself to risk or consequences. That it's safe
that's
to
an
do.
interesting way to
On the other hand, I don't want it to be something that I'm just doing all the time for everything anyone ever does, because that's not good either. I mean,
yeah, it does.
It's a tricky balance. So I think we should work something out so that it's still useful, but it's not automatic.
Okay. Well, for the interest of expediency, I say we table it. This was a good initial discussion. I'll think about it a bit over the intervening week, and then Cisco can participate in the conversation next week, and we will come to a conclusion that we're generally all in favor of. Although it seems like we got a few different ideas here, so we will compromise. Cool. Well, with that out of the way, let's start with wishes and stars. We begin with wishes so that we can end with stars. Who would like to throw out some wishes?
I'll throw out a wish. Excited to play the game. So wish is like let's roll some moves. We're playing a game that's, it's not so story based, so it's a hack of Dungeon World. There's a lot of hacking and slashing and defy danger and shooting and ammo and all that. I want to use it all, baby.
All right, that's a great wish that I look forward to granting. Cool. Steven, any wishes from you, my friend?
I'd like to see, I would like to see, since we're playing for 10 sessions, I'd like to see, an overarching, event. Maybe we've got little missions in between, but there's got to be a big task that holds us together during that process. And I'm not sure what that is, but I'd like to see kind of a through line for all 10 sessions.
I agree. Hold on.
Guys, while Rich is gone, I'm gonna send a link really fast. I need you to tell me if I should buy this and put it in my background.
That's the mechanic, right?
It's a life-size Claude from Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, he's the mechanic.
Oh wow, that's insane. Oh, I love that. That's such a cute pic. Sorry about that. Son needed help with getting dressed. So, clothing, knowing where certain clothes are. So, what we've got is an overarching event or something something else that's going on that keeps you guys together. That. Andesh, what about you?
Yeah, I agree with Steven, and I would like that to not be connected to my character and the planet. Like that's part of the background. I don't want that to be like the focus of what we're doing. But I'm also looking forward to trying out the spaceship stuff, connected to Cody's thing about trying out the rules and digging into mechanics. I want to see how the spaceship stuff works.
Me too. Excellent. You went last with wishes. You get to go first with stars. Got any stars and dash?
Yeah, super fun characters. Really like everyone just jumping into the action and going for it. The way I like these action games to go. And star to you, Riff, for putting this game together. I'm really looking forward to having a longer game, and this is a great group. I'm really looking forward to that.
Very, very stoked for a long game with y'all as well. Thank you, Adesh. Steven, any stars?
Yeah, a few. So whenever you first picked the Noble playbook, I was like, so we're gonna have talky stuff, that kind of stuff. And when we got into play and you were like telling people what to do, I'm like, oh, that's so Star Wars. That's just perfect. I love that. And with Cause, Cody, I really see him pushing us forward, and I'm really excited about that. He's like, let's do something exciting and let's just do it. And that'll be really good. Yeah.
Yes, I love a let's do the thing character. It's just so nice in a Star Wars game that someone is nudging action forward. So I also appreciate that. Cody, bring us home. Any stars that are still out there that you want to throw?
Steven, the concept for Tassa, big old star. I can always count on you to also come with some deep lore that you're like, I'm pulling a specialized character who was only in the 2003 Heroes Guide source book for the D20 Star Wars. It's like absolutely absurd with this illustration. This is like the only illustration for that thing, and you just have it all packed up. It's just like, damn, you're on it, Steven. It's a great job. Anders, building out the Noble was great. I think coming up with those bonds was awesome. And I also kind of want to just give you a star for what you just said, where you're like, I want a big overarching thing, but I don't want it to be about that. That was the backstory. I just think that's a huge thing that like sometimes people choose nobles or they choose like these things and it's like by their station, their status, it kind of almost the game has to be about them. And sometimes players want that, but I don't know, a big star to be like, hey, I know we have 10 sessions. I don't want it to be about my character's thing. I want whatever comes next. And I just think that's kind of a big star to me that you're putting that forth there. And of course, Giant Star Rich. I'm so excited to play this. I commented on this 9 million months ago when you asked if there was a Dungeon World hack for Star Wars. And I said, whatever it is, put me in that first game, coach. And I'm so happy to be.
Good. I love this crew. I love playing with you guys. Thank you so much for being forgiving for a short first session.
I want to add on another star. The Ruping and this mountainous planet, that's a fantastic setting. I was like, looking things up. I'm like, those are amazing. So yeah, thank you.
Yes, 100%. Thank you for that, Stephen. I should have thrown that. I love this. Yes, it's not going to be all about Riven, but we're definitely going to have some scenes on Riven. Like there's going to be stuff. It won't be the main, but yeah, we got either flashbacks or you guys get pulled back and you have to do extra Y with the on. Who knows? But it's going to be cool. I'm excited, and I'm already cooking on ideas based off the characters you guys have thrown at this. So can't wait. We'll see you guys in a week, and with that, we'll bring this recording to a close.